In this episode of The Tripod.
Fucking forgot about that.
Yeah, the bloody new woman that shouts at you.
That scared me.
She frightened the shit out of me yesterday.
Who are you, woman, and what are you doing in here? Get out.
Maybe she's the reason our podcast messed up yesterday. We're going to call her Susie.
Susie ruined the podcast. Yeah. Anyway, where were we?
Welcome to The Tripod.
Hello, and welcome to episode 56 of The Tripod.
Let's go again there.
Try again, Ronan.
Let's go again there. So, take two.
Tripod. Hello, and welcome to episode 56 of The Tripod. I am Ronan HD, and as always, I am joined by the two loveliest Booglies, and Kevin is here as well.
Is there another person?
It's me. Me and Sean are lovely.
Oh, debatable.
We're the best.
Okay.
No, it's not debatable. As always, you can support us on Patreon. You can send us a text to our mobile number, which is in the show notes. You can join our Facebook group and all that crack. That's the boring stuff out of the way. Gentlemen, how are we? How was your week, Sean?
Hello. How's it going? My name is Sean Reardon. I am the youngest host of this podcast. Just want to get that in there in case anyone forgot that. My week was splendid. Yeah. Gosh.
Ooh, good
Splendid,
word.
he says.
Good word, yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Usually I say phenomenal, but I'm going to say splendid this time. Got the school holidays this week, so kind of it's always a great time of year.
That's you done for the summer
teachers.
now?
Yeah.
You absolute trump.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be partaking in Hot Girl Summer, Sean? Are you going to do hot girl shit with all the time off?
I don't know. Should I answer that question? Given
Well, you are a hot girl, so
You are a hot girl.
you're the hottest girl on this podcast.
Fact.
you think so?
100%.
No, of course I don't. Look at me. Do I think so?
I'm going to move on from this question. Yeah, it's going to be a very busy summer, thankfully. So, but yeah, my week was good. Didn't get out shooting. I had a workshop yesterday morning. Fantastic
Lovely.
conditions in Connemara and Derryclare Loch. Just the clients were thrilled. I don't really realise how lucky they are. So there's Tony Kennedy and Marlena. Tony's gas man. He came up from Wexford. He listens to this podcast as well. So hello, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
If you
Hi,
are
Tony.
listening. Gas man, great crack. And himself and Marlena, they had a great time. I don't think they realise how lucky they were to get those conditions in Pine Island, because people travel from all over Ireland to Connemara just to shoot that iconic scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the only scene that Pine Island should be shot in, me personally. Like, no wind, mist, nice skies as well. Even the skies were kind of clear, we still a bit of cloud and stuff, so it was brilliant. Yeah, I was chuffed for them.
Oh, sorry. I thought you'd finished.
That took a subtotal. that took about, I'd say, 2 minutes for it.
Whatever.
2 minutes.
I was just gonna compliment you. That's all. Like,
I know. Okay,
I
it's funny.
I was just going to say, even from your stories.
Yeah, it looked amazing, Sean. It was really nice on your stories. And another thing about it. No, sorry, Kev.
No, that's already.
You interrupted
Poor Kev. Poor Kev.
Grand.
Just for the listeners, me and Ronan recorded this episode yesterday, and Kevin couldn't be here. And unfortunately, or maybe it's by some trick of fate, the recording did not go properly. But me and Ronan had an uninterrupted conversation. Just saying.
Sounds awful.
It's now taking 2 minutes to get an interruption. But no, my week was great. Yeah, it was a brilliant workshop. Chuff for the clients. You kind of feel the pressure of trying to get them conditions, even though you can't control the weather. But we're actually going to touch on that in this episode, so I won't delve too much into it. But how was your week, gentlemen?
Kev.
My week was kind of uneventful, really. So,
Okay, cool.
I do have a feeling inside me that something big is brewing, and I'm not sure what it is.
Ooh,
but
that's intriguing.
I had a feel like literally yesterday and today. I just feel like something big is going to happen. I don't know what it is, and I don't know what it could be, but there's a feeling inside that I don't know. It's just something's happening.
Did you do
weird.
a test?
No, not yet. You have to wait for the one. But no, like, I don't know. It
Is it a
feels
boy or a
like
girl, Kev?
it's a girl. We're going to call her Ronan. You know,
I know what you're saying, though.
Feels like something big is brewing. I don't know. It's like
Start of summer, anticipation.
maybe
summer.
like with gigs being announced again and stuff, and obviously the James Vincent McMurrow thing, the trial gig next week.
Hot girl summer.
It's hot girl summer. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Law of attraction, Kev.
Yeah.
See it in your mind's eye.
Something's happening.
Put it on a vision board, and it will happen.
And it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be big. That's all. So
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That has me excited.
And we don't even know what it is. It's amazing. Other than that, yeah, all is good. Happy to be here. And I'm glad I sabotaged the recording last night.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a feeling you did.
Yeah.
And like hyping up now something big that's going to happen that is, like, I'm skeptical. I don't know how to feel. I should feel excited, but because it's the UK, I'm definitely concerned and a little bit overwhelmed. So
that's fine. Oh, can I plug something real quick?
Yes.
Is it something big?
Well, it's my raffle for the camera that I'm doing.
Oh yeah, that you've been trying to do for the last 9 weeks.
No, the end. I had a specific end date set, and it's Friday. It's the Friday after the podcast is released. So yeah, if you want to win a Nikon D3300 18 to 55 kit lens, 7300 fantastic shit Sigma lens. What else? 32 gigabyte memory card. That's worth more than the raffle ticket entry itself. And a Nikon strap. Get in touch and I'll send you the link. It's only £5 to enter, and you can enter as many times as you want. And
Kev.
yeah, that's me done now for the whole episode.
Is that the 70-300 lens that you absolutely cut the back off of in this podcast?
Yes. Now I must address that really quickly, right? I was harsh on that lens at that time.
No, you weren't. It's a terrible lens.
It's shocking.
But like,
it's a terrible, woeful, diabolical lens.
I posted shots that I've taken on that lens to my story when I first announced the raffle, and
they're woeful shots.
I was a bit harsh. That's all I'm saying. For a beginner, you're laughing. It's a perfect setup for a beginner.
For £5, you get a zoom lens, you get a memory card, you get a camera body, you get a good mid-range zoom. £5, that's good value.
£5.
You can't go wrong. £5 no. £5 throw it on raffle, you might win a few things. It's a lovely job.
So get in touch. Love yous all.
Brilliant.
And that was episode 56 of the
Ronan, how was your week?
I shot another wedding.
Wow.
Jesus. Someone stop the man. He's on fire.
Yeah, I'm 2 off my record for last year. So, and we're only halfway through the year. So I'm feeling I'm going to shoot at least 11 this year. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully.
Well, I've like 19 in August alone, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, now shot a wedding. Organised my workshops, which we're going to discuss today. Have them launched out. My Glendalough workshop, a place just became available. The Wicklow Mountains one is sold out, and there's only 3 places left on an upcoming coastal workshop. So everything is going the right direction, and we can begin to enjoy a bit of normality again.
Yes, sir.
Gorgeous,
there's just good vibes, summer vibes. If hot girl summer offends anyone, I got it off TikTok, by the way. I'm not sexist.
That's why I'm not on TikTok, so I had no idea what you were on about there.
Yeah, I could tell that you were like looking at me like I had 14 heads. And I was like, no, everyone's a hot girl. Not just hot girls. We're all hot girls.
Am I a hot girl?
Yes, we're all hot girls. And it's hot girl summer. And we're taking it back with workshops, which we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I'm not okay.
It's fine.
Ladies and gentlemen of the tripod, in today's episode, we're going to discuss landscape photography workshops, the benefits of attending these workshops, the benefits of picking a good person to host the workshop, someone who you get on with, who you have an affinity with, who will look after you, like Sean and Kevin's microphone. Basically it's going to be all things workshops, but we're going to hit it from the point of view of like why we personally believe workshops are good for you, why you should consider doing workshops, but also if you're in a position where you're considering running workshops, then we're going to cover a bit about that, and myself and Sean will give you some of the behind the scenes of how we do things, and maybe you can apply that to how you do it. So first and foremost, I suppose, Sean, you did a workshop yesterday, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
So do you want to tell us a bit like how the day went, and then we'll start to break things down from there?
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I'll actually start with kind of the prep on my own side. We'll say like a week before the workshop. So I always send my clients out an itinerary through email, and generally in this itinerary it'll say a meeting time and place with a pin drop for the location of the meeting point. It'll kind of give a general rundown of the day, what we should expect. Now I always say that it's dependent on weather conditions, and I decide on the locations based on the weather. So I have like 2 or 3 different plans of locations I can go to based on the weather, and I decide on the morning. So it kind of puts a bit of pressure in terms of like, ooh, should I go here, should I go there? But I just have to trust my judgment at this stage, you know. It also in the itinerary will tell you what you need to bring. This time of year, definitely be bringing a midge net, head net, still be bringing some waterproof clothing. Nobody wears shorts because of ticks this time of year are quite bad, especially in Connemara and Clare and the
ticks
West
are
Ireland.
bad all year round if you're in Dublin.
Yeah, Wicklow.
Sorry.
You'd miss those interruptions, wouldn't you?
What else? Then you just like your wide angle and all that. I tell you what you need to bring. You know, that's the start of it. And then I also set up a WhatsApp group a couple of days before the workshop, just so we can get to know each other a bit better and have a chat. Any questions? It's easier to communicate via WhatsApp than trying to email back and forth, you know. So people really like that, and we have a bit of banter so we can get to know each other, you know. So we met yesterday at 4:00 in the morning, and I kind of said, look, I was like, look, I was in Connemara at 3:10 myself, and I drove to 2 different locations just to scope. So I scoped one area towards Screeb, where the fishermen huts are in all those areas, and I actually went to Pine Island as well. And there was fog and mist in both locations. So I was like, look, I'm happy to go either way. And I kind of said to clients, like, well, would you prefer any set location? Do you want to leave it up to me? And they kind of said, leave it up to me. So I was like, look, Tony had never really shot in Connemara before. So I was like, look, Tony, you have to shoot Pine Island, you know, while you're here. So that's why we made our way to Pine Island. And look, the workshop ran seamlessly. I mean, the 2 of them were really, they're excellent photographers, so it made my job really easy, you know. Tony was just kind of asking me questions, trying to get inside my head in terms of composition. Marlena was really creative. She was off shooting loads of different things, pointing the camera left, right and centre, which I loved, and that was class. And yeah, it went great. And after that, then we just drove to different locations in Connemara, had a chat, and like stopped and picked out different compositions. You know what I mean? So like it was an excellent day, and kind of small things, I suppose. Like I'll kind of get into it now. Like in terms of the pros of running a workshop is just the local knowledge, and having someone to bring you to these locations which you probably would not be able to find. Do you know what I mean? If you were trying to drive to these locations on your own. And also, like, I suppose the local knowledge again, like we were driving through the Ina Valley, and we're driving through kind of meandering roads and whatnot. And next thing I just pulled in at like, there was space at a gate and a label. I couldn't see Tony. Look, he's like, oh, what are you doing? Like, Sean, he goes, get out of the car there and turn around. And he's going, he's like, whoa. And it was like the road leading into the mountains. There was mist coming across the valley. It was a stunning scene. And he was like, I never would have seen that. He said, I literally would never have seen it. He's like, I don't know how you saw it because we were driving the opposite direction. And I was like, well, look, this is what you're paying me for. Like, you know, you're paying me to get you shots, to get you to places where you might not otherwise see. So that's, I think, first and foremost, that's one very valuable way, or one very valuable benefit of going on a workshop, I think.
Can I give you a fantastic example of why local knowledge is worth every cent on these workshops? Like, obviously there's a lot more to workshops. You have your mentor and everything you go through and the location and all that. But I met up with TJ Allen and Chris Traynor, the Dark Pixel, the other night in Glendalough. And prior to their trip down here to Wicklow, I had sent them like a custom map on Google with all these pins for locations. When I actually met them in Glendalough then, like I showed them the upper lake, the lower lake, Pool and Ass waterfall and that. And there's only so much you can do by sharing a pin drop with someone or a location with someone. Because when I turned up then, TJ said, I'd been up to Pool and Ass, didn't really like the look of it. I'm going to go down to the lower lake. And I was like, well, the lake isn't going to be hit by the light now at the minute, but literally like 70 meters up from Pool and Ass, where I dropped the pin, is the rest of the Pool and Ass stream. And if we go up the top there, that light now, the way it is, it's dark in the valley, but it's up above the valley. The sun is still up, so it should be splitting through the trees. And lo and behold, we went up to the top. I was right, not to brag, but the light was splitting through the trees, and it's an altogether nicer composition than the lower bit of the Pool and Ass waterfall. And TJ was over the moon. And Chris and TJ both said it's that local knowledge. Like, I sent them a really detailed map, but it's that little, I look around, I'm familiar with the area and go, right, this and this. That is invaluable. And that's one of the key takeaways of what you're spending money on in workshops, really.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah, correct. I suppose if I was to give another example, and like, this isn't, it probably sounds like we're just tooting our own horns here, like, you know, I'm being really, really biased.
Yes, sure, lads.
I'll toot your horn if you toot my... Oh my God.
Can I toot them both?
Oh,
Absolutely.
Same time.
Kevin. Oh my God.
I'm totally out of blanket now. I can't
Don't after I toot your horn.
We were tooting horns.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. Yeah, like, it sounds like we're being really, really kind of biased, but like, we're just drawing our own experiences as leading workshops and stuff. And by the way, I'd never in a million years thought I'd ever be running workshops. It's still bizarre. I have to pinch myself. But just yesterday morning, we were shooting Pine Island. We were kind of shooting directly towards the island, and the sun was rising just up to the right. And then you kind of got the mountains more to the left of the island. And I gave the lads about 20 minutes there shooting, kind of blew our stuff, and kind of just as the sun was coming up. And I said, right, we're going to move down to the far end of the lake now. And they were like, really? I was like, yeah, because the light, when it comes up, is going to hit the peaks to the left-hand side of the island, and it'll actually hit part of the island itself, and it'll look really, really nice. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. So it's just knowing the path, the sun direction, and that's just through experience, like, of shooting the same scene over and over again. You just learn these things, but that's what you're paying for. Do you know what I mean? You're paying for someone who can tell you this is what's going to happen, and by that happening, you're learning about the path of the sun and the direction of the light, and how you can predict that in order to set up different compositions.
Yeah, that's the job. That's the it leads on to another good point. Just while I scramble this through in my head, you said how lucky Tony and Marlena were to get those conditions at Pine Island, because it was absolutely stunning down there. But a big question people ask with a workshop is like, oh, you don't know what the weather's going to be like, or, you know, you don't always get that sensational light. But similar to local knowledge, the difference is, I know for me on my workshops that I'd go down to the Weir in Glendalough, and the weather was horrendous the day I was doing this workshop. But I was kind of disappointed with the light, but I knew how to make that light work, how to make that moodiness work. But from the client's point of view, the Weir in Glendalough is ideal for doing long exposure. So they were only over the moon to get their first long exposure shot. Mm-hmm. And the weather was inconsequential then. So it's not just the knowledge of like the good light and the good conditions. It's also the knowledge that we have on how to shoot in any conditions to get the most out of what's in front of you, basically. And yeah, like you're going to see places that are absolutely stunning. You might not get the best light, but you're getting shown around to these places that are spectacular. So you'll still take a lot away from it as well. Yeah,
I suppose we're kind of, there's a phrase for something about having a spoon in your mouth. Oh,
silver spoon.
Yeah, is it silver spoon? Do you know, we kind of, like, we've shot these locations so many times that we probably would only ever go back under amazing conditions, whereas someone who has never been to Connemara before, regardless of the weather, will be blown away by its mountains and lakes and whatnot, and they'll still have a fantastic time just being brought to these locations. Do you know what I mean?
Like, I've never been to Connemara, so if I were to go there, no matter the weather, I know I'd have an absolute class time.
That's it. That, you know, so like, you kind of, I suppose, as when you're leading workshops, you're under a lot of pressure. You feel under pressure to get people in the best conditions, and for a reason. It's almost like you've seen a student overcome an obstacle and learn something in your class. It's the same when the workshop client gets amazing conditions. You see their face light up, you know.
Can I ask you, Sean, do the people who attend your workshops have to call you sir?
No. Okay. No. Even in the school I teach in, they don't call me sir.
Oh, really?
So I've been used to call Sean, yeah.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, no sir or Mr. Reardon. I haven't heard that now in a long time.
That's a shame. I kind of
You can call me sir if you want. You can call me whatever you want, Kev.
Ooh, yeah.
Another big benefit of a workshop, and this is kind of relating it in terms of, we've all seen videos on landscape photography and composition and whatnot. You can't ask the person who shot the video a question. Well, you can in the comments, but they might not get back to you or whatever. Whereas on a workshop, you can literally, and I encourage my clients to please ask me so many questions. It's actually nicer and easier if they're asking me loads of questions than if they're just silent, you know?
Yeah,
because
definitely.
You don't know what's going through their head if they're silent.
That's it. That's exactly it, man. You just don't know what are they think. Are they like? Are they enjoying it? Are they? Are they totally comfortable? Do they know what they're doing? Are they totally lost but they're afraid to ask a question? Do you know what I mean? So, like Tony yesterday, like I didn't really shoot much yesterday. I had my camera and my tripod, but I just feel very conscious when I'm people are paying me. People aren't paying me to watch me take photographs. They're paying me to help them. No, I did send up my drone. I had no issue when I sent up my drone and stuff, and I did take 1 or 2 shots. But I remember I kind of framing something on my camera, and Tony just came over. He's like, "Joe, what are you shooting there now, Joe? I want to get inside your head." Do you know, so a lot of people probably go on workshops just because they want to see your thought process and allow you to talk through it. So I explained my composition. He's like, "That makes so much sense." Again, he said, "I didn't see that." Do you know, so being able to ask questions to someone there live and get that feedback. And also, full disclaimer, I do not know every single thing about landscape photography, and there are things that I will not know, but I will find out. So that's one of the things actually that I always ask my clients is like, what gear are you shooting with? Because like, let's say like Marlene yesterday was on a Canon 77D, Tony was on a Fuji X-T4. I went away and looked up how to bring up the histogram on both those cameras, how to set your exposure, how to bring up like the level, whatnot, just so I can help them in case they don't know. Just so it's kind of small little things like that kind of are what make it worthwhile, you know?
Yeah, putting the work in behind the scenes, like from every detail. You're spending a lot of money on a workshop normally, so you want to know that the person you're doing the workshop with is trustworthy. You're going to get bang for your buck, as I said before. So the things that Sean does, like the itinerary, checking up on what type of camera you use, that hands-on approach as well, to talk you through, much like you do on your own stories, like to talk you through the moment, as opposed to being like just pure theory. You're actually there, you're out with Sean, you're going through it live, almost like you're in his Instagram story with him in a weird way. But it's the same at my workshops. I use Google Classroom, set up the itinerary, have the whole thing planned out, and it's obviously all weather dependent. But make sure if you're booking a workshop, like, because there's loads of people that do workshops, it's not just me and Sean, so you can book with anyone. But kind of reach out to them beforehand and make sure you get on with them and ask the questions like, what do you have these systems in place? It's not like a kind of be here on this day at this time and see what happens. Do you know, you want to feel like they're going to hug you, like they genuinely care about you. Do you know what I mean? I saw Kev's eyes light up there when I said that. He loves a hug.
Such a softie. Such a softie. So like, we've kind of discussed in the pros there of workshops, like, and why we, do you know what I mean, for what we could bring you if you attend a workshop with, not just us, but anyone, like, and before we kind of go into the cons of it, like, there's kind of simple, I have a question written down here in my notes. It's like, should you attend workshops? And it's kind of something that you have to ask yourself, especially because one of the cons for me would be costs, and not everyone can afford to attend a workshop. I wouldn't have been able to afford to attend a photography workshop when I was a student, when I started out. Do you know what I mean? I have no problem saying that. So, but should you attend a workshop? Like, if you're sitting here listening to this, or if you've seen some of my stories and you've seen Ronan's stories and you've gone into my website and you've been looking at one of my workshops for the summer and you're thinking, should I attend this? What sort of questions should you be asking in order to formulate that decision in your head? Kev, do you have any, do you have any input into this, or what would you think?
So I suppose like the first thing you'd be thinking would be, if it were me, like, what do I want to get from this workshop? Like, I mean, it's all well and good saying, right, let's head down to Connemara and shoot with Sean. It'll be some crack. But like, if you're booking a workshop, it's different, like, you know, because I'm sure if I messaged you just as a photographer and said, oh, here, I'm heading to Connemara, you know, let's go shooting together, you know, because that happens with photographers as well. Photographers go shooting with each other. But it's very different for me to say, I want to go on a workshop taught by you or, by you because I actually want to learn. Because that is very, very different. So it all depends on what you want to take out of it and what you want to get from the workshop. Because I've wanted to book. I've toyed with the idea of booking workshops before, but it's not more. It's more so about just getting to these locations that I normally wouldn't go to. It's like that.
Yes.
That would be a reason I'd go on a workshop. Because obviously, technical knowledge, I know how to, take a photo and all of that kind of crack. Because Ronan taught me at an unofficial workshop before, but so I know that. But still, it's the whole local knowledge thing again. I'd book in a workshop because I know if I just set off on my own to go to Connemara, I wouldn't have I literally would it's a big place.
Yes.
I wouldn't know where to go. And for that alone, for me, that'd be worth the fee because that's, so it does. It all depends on what you want to take out of it. But that would need to be clear before you book it and kind of, because you want to make the most out of your time as well. Because, you want to, okay, I wouldn't see it as a lot of money. Some people, I'm just saying, because I think I know what you'd get, like the input and the output, it'll be worthwhile, put it that way. But you just want to make sure that you're still getting the most value out of it. And the only way you'll get that is if you're fully kind of mentally prepared as to what you want to get out of it,
You hit the nail on the head there with the locations, Kev. That's probably a reason why I would attend a workshop, because obviously I'm quite confident in my technical ability to take a photograph. And like Tony was yesterday, like I didn't really teach Tony anything hardly about settings yesterday. A bit about the focusing and whatnot and just balancing. Like I kind of told him, like, whatever you do, don't blow out your highlights. Like you can raise your shadows. Yes, you'll have a bit of noise, but if you blow out highlights, you just cannot bring that detail back. And then I taught a bit about bracketing. But like, for example, Neil O'Connell, fantastic photographer. Ronan, you met him during the week.
I did.
Even though Neil, you've got the most confusing name. Neil spells his name Nial. So I was calling him Niall in my head, but his name is Neil.
His name is Neil?
No, I call him Niall.
Here we go. Like,
I assumed he was Niall.
Neil, if you listen. Yeah, I was calling him Niall as well, but then he said Neil one, and like, as in he said Neil. Okay, I'm just going to call him Niall. Niall O'Connell from Dublin, fantastic photographer.
Can we call him Knock?
Nail.
Really
just call him
guy.
Nail.
King of
King of Fat.
King of Dats, isn't it?
King of That, yeah, that's his username on Instagram. Such a talented photographer. Niall's at the booking a place in my August workshop, on my August Sunrise workshop on 22nd. So I have one place remaining of that now. And like, that man is an incredible photographer. So I already know that he's literally paying me to bring me to locations, or bring him to locations. No, fair enough. He wants to give me my input on composition and whatnot, but like, that man will know exactly what to do when he gets that scene. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, if you are very confident in your photographic ability, but you haven't been to this area before, and like, especially at sunrise or sunset, you don't want to be driving around in the dark hoping to stumble across something. Whereas I know Connemara at the back of my hand, so I will literally bring you to the spot at the right time. Do you know? So that's probably a big thing for a lot of people. Now, on the flip side, you have people who are total beginners in photography and they don't like reading about it online or watching video tutorials. They want to be shown what to do physically, hands-on learning. That's another great benefit of. That's probably another reason, if you're asking yourself, should you attend a workshop, and if you've been struggling to pick up the camera or struggling to learn something, then maybe, look, this 115 or 160 or 200 or whatever it is, it will be worth it for the day workshop. You know, Ronan, what are you thinking on
it? I'm kind of thinking, what is life? Why am I in this situation? Why did everything happen? Oh, about workshops, was it?
Yeah,
oh,
workshops,
sorry.
yeah.
Workshops.
Why am I so weird?
I didn't change it for the world.
Now, I agree with all the points made. It's, at the end of the day, you're spending your hard-earned cash. You're going to get a phenomenal day out. You're going to get a lot of takeaway out the other end of it as well. You're going to get the hands-on mentoring or mentorship, whatever you'd call it, that is invaluable. You're going to get the local knowledge while you're out. So you're guaranteed to come away with a banger as well. Like for your own portfolio, you're pretty much guaranteed that you're gonna get a decent shot here, like even if the conditions aren't good. So that alone, because like hands up if you've ever gone out to shoot a landscape and haven't come back with a photo, always bloody happens.
At least 7 times out of 10.
It happens so much and I just can't take it anymore.
But you still enjoy yourself when you're out, don't you?
You do, and that's what I was getting to. You're not going out by yourself and getting no photos. You're meeting people. You're doing what you love, like-minded people. You're with probably someone you look up to and respect as a photographer, who would be the workshop host. So, like, and trust me, we don't feel like that. We're one of you guys. Myself and Sean are like, we feel bad about it. But,
yeah, I was embarrassed taking money off people sometimes.
Yeah, it's horrendous, but money makes the world go round. So sorry, guys, we have to. But I sound real cheesy saying at the end of the day, it's an experience. Like
it is definitely an experience.
Yeah, like you're getting so much, and it's more than one day because you build friendships with the people who are on the workshop. You get notes to take away. I know myself and Sean personally like stay in touch with you, and we'll kind of keep an eye on your photography and see how you're getting on, you know. So it's not just like spend a load of money, spend one day out and then right, go on, good luck. Like we'll help you along the way as well. So it's I'd highly recommend workshops. And like if you're financially unstable, which a lot of people are after the pandemic, but like you really want to do a workshop, there's options there. If you reach out, like you can get discounts, you can get a payment plan, you can have attend the workshop, and if you're not happy, I'll give you your money back kind of thing. Like we're flexible human beings, and we're in it for the love of it and the graw of it. We're not
in it for money grabbing. Like, and I think another kind of a con for me was the time and availability. I found this, probably the same run. I found this hard when I was setting out dates at the start of summer. I was like, these probably isn't going to suit a lot of people. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of people work midweek and they're only off weekends, or they might work weekends and they're off midweek, whatever. And like, how do you pick a time and day to suit everyone? Like, so I suppose that's kind of why I came up with like the bespoke one-to-one workshop where people literally book it, and then I email them, we whatever, we get in contact with a phone call, whatever. We're like, okay, what date suits you? Let's work this out, and see if you can attend the workshop. And if we find a date to suit, then bang, there you go. Like I got a message today from Dorothy was her name on Instagram, and she's like, look, do you run midweek workshops? I'm in Connemara from the 12th to the 14th of July.
Unreal.
Like, yeah, it's like no problem, we can sort something out there. Happy days, and that's it. Like that's been flexible, because just like we have to set certain dates, and that's just the way it is. We can't do anything about that, but we're always open to flexibility as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the midweek dates, if you're actually, myself and Sean do those bespoke one-to-ones, and like you could bring a friend as well. You could almost do a custom workshop if you had 4 friends to meet up during the week, but midweek is better because most people work Monday to Friday 9 to 5, so Saturday, Sunday they're out and they're going to all of these lovely places. So you might find we're kind of forced to cater for that by setting a workshop date on a Saturday or a Sunday, and then when you're out on the workshop it can be very busy. Like I went to run a workshop in Glenmalure, and on the Saturday I went down and the place was packed with tents and people out hiking and families and kids everywhere, and there was rubbish thrown in all the waterfalls, and it was just an absolute nightmare. And I went back up to like Tuesday or Wednesday after, and the valley was empty. I was like, if I had the workshop with me here, we'd have the run of the place. There's more angles to work. It just works out. So if you are available during the week, reach out to us or other workshop providers as well. It's not just all about me and John. Just me and John.
Yeah, no, seriously, lads, just book Sean around.
But aim for midweek, and we can be flexible normally around it as well. So yeah.
Class. Question, Ronan. Someone who is listening to this now and they are a very accomplished photographer, very confident in their ability, and a lot of people, they know a lot of people look up to them and they're thinking, oh, right, I wouldn't mind kind of starting my own workshops.
Are you aiming this towards me, Sean?
No, he said someone who's confident.
Yeah. I just thought he was.
Would you feel confident running landscape photography workshops, Kev?
No, definitely not.
Okay,
Not landscape photography
I
workshops.
rest my case. So someone who is feeling confident running landscape photography workshops, sorry, I should have said that, Kev. Concert, possibly you be the man there.
Imagine that crackling. Come on, lads, let's go. Come on.
Some lad full of pints. Bring a meet up 3 hours before the gig. Just stay at the bar. And they're kind of thinking, right, how should I go about this? So let's kind of talk about, I suppose branding will be the way, and kind of marketing yourself. And one key thing that stood out for me, and a couple of people said to me who've been on my workshops, is I kind of done like a week or two there where I shot a good bit in the evenings, and I just really talked through my composition on my stories on Instagram. And people said that's what made me book a workshop with you. I wanted to be there with you, like talking through your composition like that. And also, a lot of people ask me questions on Instagram, and I always get back to people. It might not be, I get a lot of messages, so it might not be for a day or two, but I will always get back to you. And if I can't, if I click into the message, and I can't reply that time, I always say, sorry, can't reply at the moment, but I will get back to you, because there's nothing worse than it says seen and you think, oh, well, he's not going to reply to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you have to build this kind of persona, like build this, be this genuine person that people say, oh, he's sound, he's always gotten back to me, or he's always helped me out, even though I'm not paying him. Do you know what I mean? So then, like, people will have no issues paying you. Do you know, they know you're in it for the love of photography. So that's definitely one thing that you should focus on if you're thinking of running a workshop. Start building this persona, start doing stories, be comfortable on camera, be comfortable talking. You come across as a very confident person who people will see that he'll be confident speaking to me and teaching me, you know?
Yeah, because that would instill like confidence in someone booking it. They'd be like, right, well, that's grand. Like I'm booking this because I know full well that he's not a spoofer. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because he's talked me through absolutely everything so far. Like I've seen, let's say, his last 5 posts and what was going through his head, and he told me everything about it. It's like, so like you'd have confidence in booking a workshop with yourselves, because, you know, results speak for themselves. But not only that, you know, you talk through the whole thing. Because like it's one thing, you know, having a really good shot. Like you post a really good shot, and like, okay, you obviously have the ability to take that. But if it wasn't for your stories, people may not see the fact that you actually have the ability to teach as well. You know, so like I think that's a massive thing.
Yeah, that's where starting your brand comes in, though, because what you're probably not aware of is you've already started to build a brand just by making an Instagram account, because your brand is yourself and your name first and foremost. So like that, how you come across on social media is
speaking of brands,
how you come across on social media is kind of, it will dictate the clientele you appeal to, and whether you get any clients at all, whether people look at your stories and go, Jesus, don't want to go out with that lad, or he's up his own bum. Do you know? So you kind of have to think about how you're marketing yourself first and foremost. A couple of things you can do then to add to that is get yourself a website. You can either use Adobe Portfolio, which comes with your Adobe Lightroom CC and Photoshop CC package. It's on the Creative Cloud. Or you can use Squarespace, which is one of the handiest ones to get set up and running. Loads of YouTubers have discount codes for Squarespace as well. Don't go mad on it. Just build a nice, simple website. Get yourself a logo. You can either Google free logo maker, or go on to Fiverr.com and commission someone from between €5 and €30 to make you a logo.
Fiverr's the job.
Fiverr job. Or go to photologo.co, and I think they're about €50 but you get a rather well presented logo. They're everywhere at the minute, but they're tasteful and they work. So that's probably down the lines of what you might want to try. Then think of your colours and start to kind of get your colours in order. If you go back to episode 42 of the Tripod, the episode on colour harmony, we talked about Adobe colour themes. And in Adobe colour themes...
How would you remember that?
Because it's Ronan.
How did you remember that was episode 42?
I have an encyclopedic knowledge of everything.
Wow.
Don't ask me how tall I am, though, because I don't know.
That's impressive. Continue.
Can I interrupt really quickly?
Of course you can. That's
Something's
what you're
just
known
dawned
for.
on me, and it's amazing. Obviously, we were just speaking about like colors and logos and all that kind of stuff. And obviously, we're the tripod, and our colors are green, white, and orange. I have a green background. Sean has an orange background. What? Has anyone else noticed this before?
I'd more say salmon, maybe.
But it's orange enough, Sean.
Okay.
Now it's
Look at this. Like, it's literally.
it's
This is
actually
amazing.
this is the Ivory Coast flag because
Go on,
it's
Ivory
orange,
Coast.
white, and green. So
I was thinking that. Yeah.
Sorry, I just got really excited there. I was like, oh my God.
It's
This is
it's
class.
actually it's a good example, Kev. Like the tripod branding is obviously green, white, and orange. We've 3 colors, and as you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, around the video is white, the background is green, and then there's the little splashes of orange up above as well. So that like those to get those colors consistent all the time across all of our social media, we use Adobe color themes, and every color has a specific hex code, which is basically like a hashtag with 6 digits after it. So you're not kind of trying to guess your color every single time. You can go into Adobe color themes, pick the colors you want, up to 5 colors, and then put that hex code in anywhere you want to use that color, and you'll get the same color over and over and over again, no matter what software or program you're using. It's like the encyclopedia of colors are those
You're an
hex codes. So
encyclopedia colors.
thank you very much. And
Correct.
on that bombshell. Now, so basically, don't be a dick on social media. Be yourself. Don't force it. Don't try and be like, oh, I'm out here and it's beautiful and it's so nice. Join me on a workshop. Like, just be yourself. Be authentic. Let your work speak for itself. Get yourself a little website, a little logo, and a nice color theme. You can actually as well, just as me going nuts on rabbit holes, if you Google the psychology of colors, pick an appropriate color for your brand. If you look at like McDonald's, KFC, Pizza Hut, they all have red, and they're all fast food places. So there's a psychology behind red and speediness and that for fast food companies. You'll notice the likes of Tesco, Lidl, Aldi, they're mainly
Blues.
primarily blues, yeah, because there's something like embracing and about the blue. Hotels, wedding photographers like myself, we use purple because purple is like this royal trustworthy color that
Wow.
you'll feel comfortable spending your money and you'll trust it. So go through the psychology of colors and pick out a color that suits what you want to represent as well, and then you're away in a hack. Just be nice on social media and don't send me mean messages.
This podcast is just the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? Like,
Oh, it's just important. Like, I mean,
color
like,
psychology, though. Like, that's hot.
Yeah,
Like, where
that's-
else would you get it?
that's and it's all. It makes so much sense, Ronan.
100%.
So much sense. Yeah, that like we just wanted to kind of touch on workshops in this podcast. Do you know what I mean? Like, and while I hope me and Ronan did not sound like we were just trying to plug our own workshops, but we're just drawing on our own experience. Do you know what I mean? Like, we gave cons for, like, as I said, like, a lot of people might not be able to afford it. Like, do you know what I mean? But there are other options available. Do you know? So yeah, look, if you're interested in attending workshops, then I still have 1 or 2 available for the summer. Ronan still has 1 or 2 available. If you'd like to come on a workshop with us and just listen to us and hopefully be taught by us, and if you just want to see some beautiful locations as well, then we'll look after you, you know what I mean? And as well as every single other workshop provider in the country. I think it's also worth worth noting, Ronan, that we have our insurance as well. We're fully insured, like, to run workshops. I think that's important. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I always just like have loads of bottles of water, granola bars, like first aid, touch wood, and you're at to use it. Here I also bring towels and socks in case people get drenched. Like, do you know what I mean?
Class.
Yeah,
You're
like,
such a daddy.
it's because I'm so used to just getting my feet always wet, so I always end up in the water, and I'm just like, I always have towels in the car and socks. So there you go.
Lovely, lovely, Harlan.
Yeah.
Well,
So
look-
lads, book workshops with Sean and Ronan, because they can't, like, they're not going to say it, but you will learn lots. So just do it and you'll have loads of fun.
But there is other workshop providers as well. But
Yes.
if you book with me and Sean, you're in good hands because we know the product that we deliver. And if you're a listener, we'll look after you. So,
Fact.
Yeah, because we love you.
What if you're a co-host?
Okay, what's next on the podcast?
You know what I mean? I want to come to Connemara. I want to do Wicklow.
We've actually
worry, Kev.
already organised a trip to Connemara that you're completely unaware of because you're not invited.
I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest.
You are invited, Kev.
I know.
You actually have.
Kev.
Well, Kev, you're about to be included in the next part of the podcast.
Oh yeah, what is it?
You are. We have the return of Kevs Korner.
Hello, everyone.
Corner.
Kevs Korner. Yeah, so this Kevs Korner is brought to you by Ronan and Sean's Workshops. Visit RonanHDphotography.com and Sean O'Riordan. Photography.com /workshops. Use the discount code tripod15 and yeah, anyway.
I actually don't have that discount code set up, but I will set it up.
Yeah, do tripod 15.
Right now.
So Kevs Korner today it's not like a rant, it's just something that I kind of happened last night, and I put it up on social media, and there was a bit of attraction from it. So I was out in town taking some snaps along the quays in Dublin, and I was trying to get the convention centre, you know, the shot where you get the convention centre at the Samuel Beckett Bridge, and the convention centre was green, so it was like classic, when it gets dark this will be lovely. But I didn't wait for it to get dark because I just did not feel safe shooting in town. Obviously, like, the last couple of days have been mental anyway in the city centre of Dublin, because people just, for whatever reason, can't control themselves when it comes to having a few drinks. And I think jumping on taxis will be loads of crack, which is not crack at all, by the way.
God, it was the same. On that note, sorry, Kev, just one quick thing. Last night, and we didn't see what was happening because I was in Galway, right? We were having a few pints on the street, but we were kind of like around the corner, and then like around the corner from us across the street, apparently two people got up on their shoulders and they pulled. There's like a Galway truffle shop, a sweet shop, and there's a Galway. They pulled the G and the A off of the wall, and then they kind of got down and they ran away like John. There was kind of guys around the car, and they were just, one has his phone, they were going to run after him. I was like, Joe, what happened? They told me. I was like, oh my God, like scum of the earth. Like
as if
shop. Businesses
haven't been affected enough by the pandemic and the lockdowns.
I was just about to say, you have to face a business that now probably today only opened again, and arrived on to look up at their branding damaged.
They have to go pay for that. Like, just have a few drinks, get a pizza, and go to bed.
Exactly.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I can't wait for the pubs to reopen, because, right, these kind of people will not be let into pubs.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And they will not be wandering the streets of that. Nobody will tolerate them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So,
but like,
sorry, Kev.
Now you're grand. But like town was rampant full of them, you know. And it is like it's mainly teenagers. Let's be honest. Like, they're taking advantage of the fact that adults can drink on the street, you know, with the pubs serving outdoor points or whatever. So they're like, well, look, if we all have a few drinks, we'll just blend in and whatever.
Exactly.
Like, so I was shooting, and I was on my own. So I was just on my own, and like, I was grand, happy enough, taking a few snaps and setting up the tripod and all that jazz. And then I heard, like, you know, you hear groups of people passing, and then kind of all of a sudden dawned on me that, like, I was in a very vulnerable position, like standing right beside the River Liffey with my camera, my drone, lenses, tripod, filter, like, everything, phone, you know, on my own. And like, I just didn't feel safe at all. So I packed up and left, because I was like, it's not worth it. Like, I'd love to get the shot. And I was like, but on my own, like, it's just not worth it at all. And, you know, I put it up on Instagram today to see if anyone else kind of had the same feelings. Like, would they be comfortable shooting in town? And I think it was like, you know, I say town because I say at town, because it could be any town, you know, it could be anywhere at night. And it was very interesting, because like, it was like probably 60% of people said yes, 40% of people said no, which I was surprised by. Even some obviously hard folk out there. But then someone reached out and said, as a female, she doesn't feel comfortable shooting anywhere on her own at any time.
Yeah.
That made me really sad.
That's an unfortunate truth. Actually, on the subject of workshops, most of my clients on workshops are women, and most of them have said that, like it's great to get up the mountains and not have to look over your shoulder. Do you know what I mean? It's an unfortunate truth that that's what women have to endure. Like it's sad.
That really upset me. Like, honestly, like that was.
There's definitely like it or lump in it. This isn't being sexist, but like there's definitely male privilege even today. Do you know what I mean? Like males have that privilege of like I wouldn't feel. I've walked home from like a night out in Limerick City. Like and also like you wouldn't see the carry on happening. You actually wouldn't see that in Limerick City and Limerick City. Stab City, like Limerick's a very safe place, but like I've walked home in the middle of the night through Limerick City, like back to whatever hotel or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I haven't felt one bit uncomfortable. That is total and utter male privilege. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And it's tough. Like it really is. It's a sad state of affairs. You know, like if there was a female, probably Kev, in your position last night, like if you felt uncomfortable,
I did.
Imagine how a female would have felt, especially if it was like groups of men, like or young men or whatever, walking around the streets. You know. Yeah,
and like so that particular message kind of like, I was like, Jesus, that's like, I mean, as you said, I happily go most places. Like even if I'm shooting a gig, like I'll head in on my own. The car will be parked ages away. I'll head back from the car from the venue to the car, camera gear in hand. Because I'm moving, I don't feel any fear at all. Like I'm like, we'll head back to the car. It's grand. It was just obviously like I was on my own, situated with everything in view, and there was a lot of drunk people and just ruffians around. So I was like, I can't do this.
And you know what? It's almost worse when you have camera gear and stuff with you. If someone knows that, oh, hang on, what he's carrying is worth a lot of money.
100%.
A lot of people wouldn't cop on that it is, but more often than not, we hear about camera gear robbing out cars. Like people realise the value of these pieces of equipment.
That's a good point as well on that though. If you do find yourself in a situation where someone's aware of how much your gear costs, they're trying to take it off you, you're in a spot of bother, let them take it.
Yeah, give it to them.
It can be replaced. You can't be replaced. And you'd be surprised, like these people that are that way inclined who have no issue robbing someone, you don't know what else they're going to do. So it'll probably kill you to let go of your gear. We can start a GoFundMe or something and we can get it replaced. But you're more important than your camera gear. Let it go. It's replaceable.
Yeah, get it insured.
Like that is a good show. You could do. I suppose the point of the Kevs Korner is just, do always make sure you're feeling comfortable where you're shooting. I was well aware of my surroundings last night, like I knew where I was shooting. I knew where I had to go after. I knew, I kind of had a look around. I was like, well, look, I can kind of scoot off around the corner or whatever. But I still didn't, I didn't want to risk it. I was just like, it's just not worth it. Like, look, chances are nothing would have happened, and I could have got the shot I wanted or whatever. But it was just, is it really worth the risk? Is it worth just like that feeling of uncomfort? I was like, I'll come back again. That's another good thing about shooting with people, because if I were there with anyone else at all, even if it was one other person, I would have felt completely different. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Correct. Benefits of shooting with people as well.
Correct.
It's another really good benefit.
Yeah.
So, just thought I'd share that experience, because I was surprised. Like quite a few people reached out and they were like, "No, I wouldn't at all." Like they're just like, "I don't feel comfortable shooting in town, at all." Some people said like at all. They just said like with the gear, it's not worth it. My latest poll, just having a quick look there. So 70 people voted for yes and 61 voted no. It'd be interesting. I might reach out to a few and just to see the people who voted no, kind of what their reason was.
Maybe come back to us next week, and obviously everyone's will know names will be mentioned, just purely anonymous. Like it would be interesting to get some insights into that. That's good. That's it's an important thing to highlight, Kev.
Yeah, just stay safe, lads. That's the most important thing.
Good stuff.
Stay safe and stay comfortable.
The other thing you could do, just thinking of it, to link it back into the episode, because we're so good at podcasting here. I'm pretty sure Fred Kelly, Raw Dublin, does Dublin City workshops. And There's the likes of
correct.
David Guilford, Richie Hogan, all the lads up in Dublin. Mark Duffy goes down to Dublin the odd time.
Yeah.
Ross Neville, like there's loads of lads up there who are active out shooting. And they're all sound, they're all on Instagram. Send them a message. You can either attend a workshop or make a group chat or something so that you have people to go out with, because there's safety in numbers. And it's horrible to think, like, as men, we're not affected as much as Sean highlighted there with the male privilege. But especially for women, like, you shouldn't be denied the right to shoot in a town or city or up the mountains or anywhere because you feel intimidated. So
Correct.
Reach out to other togs. Like Rory said it last week, the other benefit of it is you get to shoot with other people. It's just, there's loads of sound people out there and lovely people who can have each other's back. So stay safe. Mind yourselves. Don't go into Dublin ever.
It's lovely.
terrifying.
Honestly, it's terrifying, but if you're there with people, you'll get deadly shots at night. So
and the cities are lovely
Brilliant.
as well. So
It's a nice way to end the episode.
Gentlemen, that was episode 56 of the Tripod.
50?
lads, we're flying through them all the same, aren't we?
We missed the trick not doing 55 last week. Maaku 55. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 56 of The Tripod. As always, find us in our Facebook group, our Patreon. That bit's coming up now. You can listen to it at the end. I love you all. Love you so much, Kev. Love you so much, Sean.
Enter my raffle.
We will see you next Tuesday. Fuck your raffle, Kevin. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Let's talk photography.
And there you have it, folks. Another episode of The Tripod.
If you did enjoy the podcast, please consider leaving us a review on iTunes.
And you can always subscribe to the podcast. And if you want to listen to more episodes, head over to www.tripod.ie, where you can find us on our socials, which include Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Okay, Ronan, that's enough.
Be on Snapchat
that's
and
enough,
TikTok. And okay, thanks.